This week we're going to review terms and symbols, and we're going to save articulation for next week, and then we'll put them together. So at the top here, in the top left, we talk about flat, and to the right of it you can see that there is a symbol for flat. So here's a flat, here's a symbol for flat, and in our music that flat symbol usually appears to the left of the note head. And if we were to write it out in English, we'd say flat. Now, let's go ahead and draw what we need to in the middle. So we're going to say lowers a note. Notice that I'm leaving space right below it as well. And remains in effect for an entire measure. Okay, and of course you'll learn more about this by doing the written assignments worksheets that go along with this. So that would go down what we call a half step. A flat remains in effect for an entire measure. And what's going to separate that? It's going to be a bar line. Next one, sharp, the opposite of that. So instead of lowering, we're going to raises a note. And just like the one above, remains in effect for an entire measure. And once again, by doing the worksheets, that second part will make sense to you. But basically, if there's an F sharp, for example, at the beginning of the measure, then the next time you play an F on the same line or space, then it's going to be an F sharp as well. Natural, here's the symbol once again. So we have all these symbols here. We have a flat symbol, we have a sharp symbol, and now we have a natural symbol. And a natural symbol is going to cancels a flat or a sharp. We'll just say flat or sharp. And once again, remains, you guessed it, in effect for an entire measure. Okay, those are three that kind of go together. Now we're going to talk about fermata. I'm going to use a different color for this one because these kind of go together too. A fermata means to make the note longer. You'll hear me say a lot that it means to also watch the conductor when you're playing a large ensemble piece like a concert band or a jazz band or an orchestra, etc. So you need to look up and watch your conductor. But it just means to lengthen that for a certain period of time. You get to decide how long that should be usually. Okay, next one, common time, which looks like the letter C. You can see this here, and you're used to seeing this hopefully by now. It's another way to write 4/4 time. And so we're going to write that. It is 4 beats in a measure. Put space below you. Okay, and I'm going to put a comma here. Quarter note. Gets the beat. And since we have space, I'm going to write it like this. What it really means is 4, and I'm going to put a quarter note under it with a stem facing down on the left side. 4 quarter notes per measure is equal to 4/4 time, which is equal to, you can write all this out, common time. There you go. And of course, that's the first time signature that we learned is common time. Why is it called common time? Because it happens the most. Next one, cut time. If you're an advanced band, hopefully you're playing some pieces in cut time. 2 beats in a measure. Comma. half note. So the 2 is really a half note. Gets the beat. And just like we did before, we're going to write it over here. So what that means is 2 half notes. So draw an open circle and then put a stem below it. And that is equal to 2 2 time. Another way to say cut time is 2 2 time. And you might see both depending on what you're playing. And that is equal to, let's draw our C and put a slash through it. There you go. Okay, the next one I'm going to do in blue just to mix it up. Phrase. Hopefully you've heard this a lot in your music class. I hope you have. Musical sentence. Also, sometimes melody is a phrase, obviously. But it doesn't have to be a melody, okay? And we're going to put a comma here. Notice I put space again. 4 or 8 measures long. Now, it's not always 4 or 8 measures long, but if you're a newbie, then it's probably going to be 4 to 8 measures long. Pick up notes. These are the notes that come before the phrase, usually. So in this case, we're going to say notes before the first full measure. Okay? Double bar line indicates the end of the music. It's like a big period at the end of a novel or a book, or even a paragraph. Repeat sign. Without stopping, two P's and stopping, comma, repeat music. And usually these come in pairs. You'll see a dot go in the opposite direction as well. And you play the internal parts. Okay, only a few left on this one, so I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to change my color to red. These two also go together. So we have Da capo al fine, and that's Italian, and in this case it means to go back to the beginning. Once again, I'm leaving space. 2 ends in the middle. And play to the fine. You need to write it exactly like this because that's how you're going to say it in the recitation. What that means is to go back to the very first measure, the capo, meaning the top or the cap, it's Italian, and then play to the fine, which means end. So go back to the beginning and play to the end, or the fine. Dal segno al fine. This is a little different. You're going to have a symbol that goes along with this one. Usually it's like an S, that, 2 dots like that. You can draw that if you'd like. I'm going to do a better job over here. It's an S, you have a slash through it, and 2 dots. Good luck with that one. Okay? This one means go back to the sign, dal segno, and play to the fine. Pretty easy. And next we have articulation, and we are done. So we're going to save this. Here we go.